All right, so just before 7:30, we responded 4100 block of Laclede, building fire. It is a large two-story brick mixed occupancy. It's actually one of the longest puppet theaters in the country. So the mixed occupancy, they live here, but conduct puppet shows here. A heavy volume of fire in the rear. When we arrived, we had a report that there were possibly persons trapped inside. The initial report is that folks were in the basement. The company's made an aggressive interior push to search for these occupants. The conditions deteriorated rather rapidly, and an evacuation was ordered. One of the occupants is accounted for outside of the building in stable condition, a little smoke inhalation, but is being transported with non-life-threatening injuries. At this time, there's still one occupant that's unaccounted for. We're in defensive operations right now. We've got occupied exposures on both sides of the fire building. Those have been evacuated. The companies have done a good job keeping the fire from extending into those dwellings, and that's where we stand right now. We're full defensive operations.
Talk about the response as far as fire crews. They have to call for water for this fire.
Right, so right now we're in a second alarm. What that means logistically or for personnel, we have over 60 firefighters working the scene. These are very long blocks in the central West End, which present a unique challenge. As you walked up, we're sort of mid-block. There are not very many hydrants in these long blocks, so we have to go further away, and that's one of the reasons why we have so many firefighters working on the scene. We're in the 4100 block, publicly, sort of mid-block. We've got companies stretched as far as Forest Park and Boyle, which is like a block up and over, bringing in water to put out this fire.
How many people were inside at the time?
What was that? I'm sorry?
How many people were inside at the time?
So 2 occupants at the time that the fire started. And there's a theater inside, and we're still putting the pieces together. Our chief investigator's on scene. From the occupant, it looked like that there was a decent amount of smoke in the theater, right? So the investigators will put all the pieces together. We'll talk to neighbors. There's a significant amount of video footage that'll have to be combed through to try to put pieces back together to figure out exactly what happened.
You know, we're looking at this building. Can you break it down for us? I mean, some people are telling me, break it down. When we look at this building, exactly the lay of the land, the landscape.
So the best way I can do that, just based on what I know right now, is that it's a mixed occupancy, and that's why I led with that. So obviously they live there on the upstairs, but downstairs, you know, there's a gift shop, there's a theater, there's a workshop. So it's kind of hard for me to specifically tell you because I don't know, but just a lot of different components. You're running a theater on the first floor, living quarters, if you will, on the second floor from what I know right now.
We have video of Mr. Kramer being put on a stretcher. Is the other person his partner?
To my knowledge, yes, but I can't confirm that.
Do you know if that person was last seen in the bedroom?
So I don't have that detail. The only thing I know now is that that individual is unaccounted for.
So the person you transported to the hospital, they have no idea where that person was. They weren't able to give you any indication.
Right. They were both home at the time that smoke was discovered in the dwelling. One went to go investigate. They got separated, and that's the last note. I don't have